Hi, my name is Amory Botorf. I'm with Good Energy Solutions out of Lawrence, Kansas. Today we're going to talk about solar finance savings, the financial tools from the utility to rate increases to solar costs, and how that structure comes together to create a really compelling financial argument for solar. As we've seen solar grow and be adopted more and more all over the country, from homeowners to businesses to nonprofits to governments especially, we've also seen it grow all over the world. There's countries out there that are running 30, 40, 50% of their grid on solar energy, in particular, also using wind, right? So when we look at that, as time has gone by, the solar industry has educated their customers to a degree where we now see a really educated customer base coming back to us and sharing what they've learned. Well, technology changes and grows, policies and utility policies and government policies change and grow. And so I wanted to educate and update everybody to share the latest information about it. So the first thing to know is that the cost of manufacturing solar has gone down every year, year over year, almost exponentially. So where the cost of modules is relatively low compared to what it used to be a long time ago. Meanwhile, the cost of electricity has gone up and up and up every year. And so we'll get into some of the numbers on that and the facts, but the reality is that as soon as the cost of manufacturing solar gets to a certain point and the cost of electricity from your utility company increases to a certain point, where they cross is called grid parity. And we're going to limit the number of technical terms we use, but where they cross means going solar makes more sense. You know, getting solar panels, having an installation, producing your own energy makes more financial sense than just buying all your energy from the utility and just putting it on auto pay and forgetting about your bill. The first place to stop is at your utility bill. The first place to go is solar right for me. What are the finances that I'm dealing with currently is your utility bill. So when you look at your bill, you're going to see a series of charges and rates. You're going to see the first thing to pay attention to is a fixed cost that you pay every month. Every utility customer, from a commercial to a homeowner, etc., has a fixed bill. If you go to a smaller cooperative, the cooperatives out in the countryside, it can be as high as $45 a month. That is the fixed rate on your bill. So the second place to look on your bill is what you're actually paying per kilowatt hour. This is where the opportunity gets really exciting. When the utility says we're going to raise rates, and you hear about rate increases all the time. When they say they're going to raise rates, typically they're talking about generation and transmission rates. So generation of energy from a coal-fired power plant, hydroelectric, nuclear, etc., those cost more to operate. They cost more based on regulations. That's where they ask for a rate increase. And then transmission is how they get that energy from the power plant to your house. The transmission lines, that maintenance and infrastructure also costs a lot of money to maintain. As the grid ages, the rate increase that the utility asks for gets larger. So if you look at that right now, our utility Evergy just released a 14% rate increase. That's a pretty high rate increase. If the cost of gas went up 14%, we would all take notice, right? But 1 year is not really the big deal. So this is where I want to bring in some numbers and some perspective. So if we look at rate increases over the course of time, there is a period in the Midwest for Kansas and Missouri with Evergy, specifically in Missouri, where the rate increased from 2004 to 2013, 78%. So that's 9 years and almost 80% rate increase over 9 years. Now, I went to my boss and I said, hey, I've been working here for 9 years, and can I have an 80% increase to my pay? And I got laughed out of the office. Likewise, in another section of Missouri, over that same time period from 2004 to 2013, the rates went up 55%. So that's two different regions where collectively the rates have gone up an astronomical percentage over less than 10 years. Now there's one other factor that we need to take into account when we add renewable energy or solar panels to this equation, and that's the utilities exchange, right? A lot of our customers are aware of what net metering is, and there's other types of policies out there, but hopefully your utility has a net metering agreement of any kind at all. That is the best way to exchange energy. So net metering means that whatever I generate in my home, I either consume it directly or I send it out to the utility company. When it goes through my meter and I push energy back to the grid, back to the utility, it nets at the meter. So the value of my electricity, my kilowatt hour from solar, nets at the meter, which means it's the same value as the utility's kilowatt hour. It's called 1-to-1. So when I overproduce during the day, I'm at work, my system's producing lots of energy, I send that energy back to the utility and they clock it at the same financial value as the energy that they send back to me, okay? So that is the key principle about how solar saves you money. At the end of the month in our utility Evergy here, they will settle up with you. Any of the excess that I've sent to them, they are gonna pay me at a wholesale rate. So the simple way to understand this technical stuff is to think if you had a gasoline tree in the backyard. So you have a tree that grows gallons of gas, right? Bear with me. So I grow my gallon of gas, I take it off and I fill my truck or fill my car with the gallon of gas. That means I saved the money that I was gonna spend at the gas station. Now vice versa, if I take that gallon of gas and I go down to the gas station and I sell it to them and be like, hey, I grew a couple gallons of gas in my gasoline tree and I sell it to the utility, they're not gonna pay me $3.25 a gallon, right? They're gonna pay me 50 cents a gallon and then go sell it and make a big profit, right? So that's one of the key factors about how solar works. Self-consuming your energy is the best way to save the most money. So I'm paying 12 cents or 14 cents a kilowatt hour to the utility. They increase rates 15%, but I'm producing from solar. So effectively, the solar energy that I produce just got more valuable, therefore my savings increase. Now let's add time to the equation. So solar is not a couple years and then you got to replace the system. Solar systems are warranted for minimum 25 years. Some of our modules go beyond that 25-year warranty because we really like premium equipment. So I have a 25-year window to ask myself a couple questions. Number one, what do I think utility costs are going to do over 25 years, right? We all can look back 25 years and know what the trends are. So when I think about how solar is going to save me money over that long one, what's my real net investment? What's coming back to me financially? I have to look at a 25-year window. So the calculation is really simple. You take annual production of energy from one solar array, and you multiply it by 25 years as a rough number. So that's 25 years worth of energy coming from solar. Take that number and multiply it at the current cost of electricity from the utility. So take your 25 years worth of solar energy, multiply it at the cost the utility's charging you. That's the value associated with that energy right now. That's what it's worth on the market. Now that's not what it's going to cost you, right? This is where your savings comes in. This is where you take your 25 years worth of electricity production from solar and you take your total solar system price minus any incentives or discounts, what you actually paid for it, the net cost. You take your net dollars that cost you to buy solar and you divide it by 25 years worth of energy production. This is called your levelized cost of energy. A lot of times what we're seeing in the Midwest is this comes out to be 5, 6, or maybe 7 cents per kilowatt hour, whereas the utility is at 12, 13, or 14 cents, depending on where you are. Now here's the best part. We call this reverse inflation, if you will. It's not a technical term. My 7 cents for solar is always 7 cents every single year. It's a flat cost. My utility cost at 12 cents minimum has a rate increase, has another rate increase. We can look at that trajectory. So all the folks that went solar in 2004 and had solar and still have solar today, when the rates went up 78% over 9 years, they were paying the same rate for solar the entire time. So that delta, that gap, is what becomes your savings. You pay 7 cents per kilowatt hour for the next 25 years for solar, or you can pay the utilities rate increases every single year. Now, here's the key things that we covered today. So number one, savings starts at your utility bill. You have to look at what you're being charged, what the cost per kilowatt hour is, and how those rate increases are going to impact that cost. Number two, solar generation has its own cost. If you run it over 25 years, you can get what's called the levelized cost of energy. That is going to be a fixed rate that you pay, and every time the utility raises rates, you're saving that much more money. So there's a reverse inflation in play here. Over 25 years, you take the delta between what you would pay to the utility and what your solar actually costs in that calculation, and that's your savings. If you'd like to learn more about how your home or your business qualify for solar, what the details are, it's really easy and simple to get a quote. Please come and visit our website, check out our blogs. We have so much content, so much information for you.